Your flowing mind. March 7, 2016. We are on the cusp of great change. Exactly when, where, what, how, and to whom these changes occur will be determined in the fifth-dimensional worlds that are beyond time. Therefore, when, which is a third-dimensional term, will be within the now in which these changes are experienced. This may seem confusing to your third-dimensional thinking. However, if you are to consciously experience these changes, your consciousness, and thus your perceptions, will need to be calibrated to that frequency range and energy pattern of those changes. Please remember that change does not occur unless you experience it. And whether or not you experience these changes will largely depend on whether or not your consciousness is calibrated to the frequency of reality in which that change is occurring within the now. We realize that you may be confused by the 5D mode of conversation. Our speaking within the now of no time no longer confuses Suziel. However, the side effect of her adaptation to that frequency of the now is that her third-dimensional, time-bound experiences are very difficult to keep track of. We know that many of you are having this experience. As you adapt to no time, which means now, you begin to live more and more within your multidimensional mind. Meanwhile, your physical brain, consciousness, thoughts, and emotions are trying to cope with the third-dimensional stimuli and fourth-dimensional stimuli. This fourth-dimensional stimuli, as well as the construct of your physical life, are fading from your choice of perception. There is such a diversity of stimuli in your fourth-dimensional reality that you can become lost in the myriad illusions that arise at that frequency of reality. You see, the third-dimensional construct of reality is based on the polarity and separation that you experience in your physical world. Even your dreams can be frightening or limiting. However, time runs much faster in the fourth dimension. Therefore, many of you learn to meditate, lucid dream, draw, sing, dance, and/or be an athlete. It is through these creative endeavors that you activate your innate connection to wonderful creative ability of your fourth-dimensional consciousness, and thus fourth-dimensional thinking. Fourth-dimensional consciousness thinking is constructed of a more fluid reality in which your thought and emotions can change the structure of your reality. You may also be moving through the fourth dimension to remember how to be active in your higher states of consciousness. Or, if you are in the process of entering into an earth vessel, or releasing your earth vessel, the fourth-dimensional frequency of reality is very different from your third-dimensional experience of what you had formerly thought of as the person, or body that died. Of course, while in your astral body, you are very aware that you cannot die. Death is a third-dimensional concept. While in your fourth-dimensional astral body or your fifth-dimensional light body, you have the perspective of looking at your third-dimensional reality from the perspective of a higher-dimensional version of yourself. We do not mean that the 3D issues diminish. What we are saying is that the worries and fears of your third-dimensional reality will diminish in importance. As you continue to hear, see, feel, and sense that something is very different, your third-dimensional perceptions seem less important. Now, this is very confusing to you because you know you have to take care of your 3D life. You have to pay your bills, go to work, take care of your family, etc., etc. Yes, within this now you still have to maintain a strong connection to your third-dimensional reality because you are changing it. But how can you change something that you don't really understand? That is a very important point because you are being called upon to expand your awareness of what is truly happening on physical Earth, so that you can participate in this change. The where. Therefore, we will move on to the where aspect of this change. That is an easy answer. The where is inside of you, deep within your core. Since you are among our volunteers who took an Earth vessel to more intimately assist Gaia, you are fully merging into your/Gaia's planetary self. Therefore, your where is everywhere on planet Earth. This brings us to the what is going to occur. We, your galactic and celestial family, happily answer, whatever you create. If you are to ascend with Gaia, you will need to remember that you are the creator of your reality. If you observe reality only from the third dimension, you will likely judge yourself a lot. However, if you have learned to unconditionally love yourself, you will not judge yourself. Instead, you will listen to the many voices inside your head, your heart, and your body. We suggest that you tune into the roar of the myriad higher beings surrounding your world. Then, intimately and daily connect with your own higher self who resonates to the you who has found the courage to listen to your reality. Remember, if you allow all of your senses, perceptions, thoughts, and emotions to send you an understandable message, you will need to unite all this information into the one voice of your own higher dimensional self. There are many of our brave volunteers to Earth that are in the process of communing with their higher self. The challenge is that many do not realize that it is their own higher self with whom they are communing. You have all been indoctrinated by the lost ones that you are just one insignificant human. We ask you to slightly change that message to, I am one very significant, multidimensional being. To best fulfill that mission, we suggest that you transmute back into your flowing body. Your flowing body is a return back into your fifth dimensional vessel of light. The what? To assist you with that return, we will now send you our latest transmission. We have spoken with you inside your consciousness. We now wish to assist you to interpret our message in a manner in which you can share with others in a way that they can understand. We come to you within this now to share that we, your galactic family, surrounds your planet. Hence, we are able to give you all the protection and illumination that you are able to accept. Gaia is a free will planet, which both strengthens and weakens her. Since Gaia chose to explore being a reality in which her inhabitants could be the directors of their own version of reality, she was able to accept residents from myriad different worlds and dimensions onto her planet. However, the origins of these inhabitants were forgotten, as they adapted to a third fourth dimensional reality. We come to you again to remind you that it is the now for you all to release your old adaptations into your current third fourth dimensional resonance and return to your true multidimensional self. The how. All of your interdimensional abilities, and more, are becoming increasingly common. Best of all, more and more people are beginning to follow their inner urges and document that which they are experiencing. Best of all, you are sharing these experiences with others. Fully remembering your initial arrival on planet Earth will greatly assist you to release your third dimensional adaptations. Please remember that you bilocated from the fifth dimension and beyond, from your true, fifth dimensional self. Bilocated means that your fifth dimensional expression of you who chose to merge a component of his her energy field with the you who is wearing a third dimensional earth vessel, still resonates to the fifth dimension. When your 3D self is consciously aware that you are infinitely connected with an expression of you who resonates to the fifth dimension, your third dimensional self will be able to merge with this fifth dimensional energy field. When your third dimensional expression merges with your fifth dimensional expression, your collective self will perceive you as one with all the higher dimensional expressions of your multidimensional self. Since you consciously resonate with both Gaia's third fourth dimensional self, as well as your fifth dimensional self, you become an open portal through which the fifth dimensional energy fields of your fifth dimensional self can flow into and merge with your physical earth vessel. Your physical earth vessel shares Gaia's third fourth dimensional elements of earth, air, fire, water, and ether. Your fifth dimension expression of self sends fifth dimensional energy fields down through your portal to intermingle with your third dimensional earth vessel. This fifth dimensional energy field merges with every molecule of the interdimensional portal that your fifth and third dimensional selves have opened to commune with each other. Because Gaia is a free will planet, it is the decision of your 3D earth vessel self as to whether or not you receive this energy field. The difficulty is that if your 3D expression cannot perceive this portal connection, you will not recognize the feel of the fifth dimensional that your higher self is sending to you via the portal of your join connection. Please remember that this energy is meant to go through your 3D earth vessel and into the planetary body of Gaia. Your fifth dimensional self will continue to send you as much fifth dimensional light as you are able to ground into the body of Gaia. It is vital that you remember that you must let this energy travel not from you, but through you. The synaptic junctions of your third dimensional earth vessel cannot tolerate continual interaction with the fifth dimensional energy fields. If you do not send this energy into the core of Gaia, you can greatly harm your fragile 3D earth vessel. However, as this energy travels through you, you are able to share it with others via the task that humans have called channeling. When you channel, it is vital to always remember, the energy travels through me, not from me. If you try to use this frequency of energy before you have fully grounded it in the planet, the ungrounded higher frequency can damage the delicate neural/electrical systems of the clay earth vessel that expression of your multidimensional self is wearing. Furthermore, if your ego becomes engaged or you seek to use this energy for selfish reasons, your fifth dimensional expression will stop using the portal until your grounded version regains their service to others' consciousness. Even when the grounded one maintains a service to others' state of consciousness, the clay vessel that you is wearing can become harmed by light that is too out of sync with the tunnel/portal through which it travels. From the perspective of your earth vessel self, you will become extremely tired and perhaps even ill. Also, there can be some neurological damage if you do not take rests and remain connected with your higher dimensional you. This higher dimensional you is much like the puppet master, whereas your 3D self is much like the puppet. However, this puppet is actually a very evolved human who has followed the necessary light choices that allows you to consciously connect with your own fifth dimensional and beyond expression of multidimensional self. Remember, your fifth dimensional self maintains the multidimensional opening of your shared inner portal. Simultaneously, your third dimensional self maintains the fourth dimensional opening of your shared inner portal. These two expressions of you resonate to the frequency of consciousness of the part of the portal that you maintain. However, what has been occurring more and more is that the third dimensional expression of you is allowing more and more of this higher frequency of light to enter into your earth vessel, as long as your physical expression realizes that you must maintain a higher state of consciousness on a regular basis, or the higher light can actually harm your earth vessel. We remind you to not be alarmed when the higher light opens higher dimensional messages that have been dormant in your physical brain. Your third dimensional self is beginning to consciously perceive these messages because your earthbound consciousness has expanded enough to activate your higher brain waves. It is these higher frequency brain waves that allow you to receive higher and higher dimensional messages without damaging your physical brain. It is at this point that your fifth dimensional self can pull through messages from higher and higher dimensions of reality. Simultaneously, your third dimensional you can ground these messages deeper and deeper into the planetary body of Gaia. You are also able to consciously perceive and share these messages with others. When the third dimensional you, at the 3D opening of your portal, can consciously receive, document, and share the messages that your 5D sends from the higher dimensions, our interdimensional portal expands more deeply into the core of Gaia, as well as into higher and higher dimensional realities. Eventually this you will be able to totally release all attachment to the third dimensional holographic timeline of planet Earth and merge the consciousness of your personal Earth vessel self with the consciousness of the fifth dimensional self. Furthermore, once you have merged your personal consciousness with your planetary consciousness, you will be fully aware of the portal within the core of the Earth. It is then that your bilocated self can be in constant communication with your Earth vessel self. When you entered your Earth vessel, you entered time, as well as all the myriad possible, probable, alternate, and simultaneous incarnations of Earth. In this manner, you have access to the you, in what you likely now consider your past self. To your third dimensional self, these lives are within the time of the past. However, to your fifth dimensional self, these lives are all resonating to the now of the one. Hence, your constant connection to your higher self will greatly assist you to expand your perceptions of reality far beyond one individual being living in only one timeline. We ask you now to go deep inside your long-forgotten memory waves to remember entering the earth vessel that you are currently wearing. When you remember entering this life, you can remember the you that is often known as your higher self. The who. Hopefully the who is you. All of your interdimensional abilities, and more, are becoming increasingly common. Best of all, more and more people are beginning to follow their inner urges and document that which they are experiencing. Best of all, you are sharing these experiences with others. Beings who have ascended beyond the third dimension often briefly return to the physical world to show others that a transition into light body is possible. Perhaps you will be one of those beings. Perhaps you already are. Channeled by Suzanne Lee. SuzanneLeePhD.blogspot.com